Hi, everyone. I'm Marina Kukla, and this is Laura Faith. Um, we are now going to demonstrate another core technique that we use in CBTw, which is listening for and reflecting thoughts related to work. Laura is going to play the veteran, and I will play the CBTw facilitator. We have a couple of different scenarios, and we'll have a couple of alternative reflections for each. Again, like I said in the last video, there are many appropriate and good reflections that you could use, but the idea is to continue to help people think about their thoughts and their perspectives as they relate to work. So for this first scenario, during session 6, which is coping with stress and anxiety, veteran Laura is sharing her experience with anxiety before a job interview.
My anxiety is through the roof. I'm just so stressed. It's almost like my PTSD flashbacks come up all over again. I want to go to the interview, but then I'm just stuck in the chair, just in my own head, thinking about how it'll be a disaster. And then I just can't get out of the chair.
Wow. So it sounds like for you, like just thinking about the interview is enough to really make your tension and anxiety like sky high, a level 10. Then you're sort of stuck with your thoughts just going around and around in your head. And then like ultimately you don't end up going to the interview. I mean, that's really tough to go through. I'm actually wondering what goes through your head when you find yourself stuck in that chair.
Well, I just keep saying to myself that I'm not going to get that job. They are not going to hire somebody like me. And then if I go to the interview and I don't get the job, everybody will know that I messed up again and went to another interview and didn't get another job.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you keep having these sort of like difficult thoughts that you'll fail, even though it sounds like you're pretty well prepared for these interviews. You know, I wonder what it would actually be like to go to that interview, and maybe we can discuss some helpful things today to help you break that cycle so you can make it there.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go. It's just my anxiety makes it really, really hard. So if we could figure out a way for me to go, I'm open to that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it today and see if we can sort of think about it together, because it sounds like this is also something that's affected you for a long time.
It has. It's been something holding me back for a while. So if I can
Mhm.
get through it, that's great. I want to work. I'm motivated, but my anxiety just paralyzes me.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so for this second scenario, um, it's during session 5, which is barriers to work, where we discuss thought barriers and behavioral barriers and emotions that get in the way. Veteran Laura is exploring thought barriers to work success.
Sometimes I want a job. I know that I do. Other days, it's just not worth the effort. I can live on my VA service connection. I get pretty good money with that. But
Okay.
I mean, I am bored all day. I
Mhm.
have nothing really to do.
So it sounds like you're kind of like unsure, you're having some mixed thoughts about this. Like on the one hand, you're thinking you want a job, but on the other hand, you have enough income to live off of. But you're also like pretty bored. And I'm wondering, maybe you don't find much purpose in your days. Maybe that's part of why you're bored. And that maybe it sounds like you're thinking about a job to help you fill that so you'd feel more motivated to do stuff again.
Hmm. That's never really something I thought about before. I mean, maybe it's related to that. It's never something I've considered.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's something to think about too. I mean, as we go forward, you know, earlier on when you talked about your values and why you wanted to work, it sounds like, you know, wanting to help people or wanting to do things that mattered. Sounds like that was really important to you, and this sounds like maybe your boredom is, that's kind of what you're missing, but maybe we can think more about that as we go forward.
I think that's a good idea. I used to just think if I have enough money to live off of, that's fine. But
Hmm.
So bored, so maybe I need more in my life.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So a separate reflection to Laura's initial statement might be, I hear you saying you're thinking about work as kind of confused. You're thinking there are good reasons to get a job, but it's also a ton of effort. So on other days, you're really not sure if that effort is all that worth it, but you're also pretty bored. So maybe the scales are sort of tipping towards actually getting a job and seeing what that's like.
Yeah, maybe I've been bored for a while. Like I was able to manage it for some time, but now I'm thinking I just might need to do something. I might need to get a job. I have
Hmm.
some things to offer, so maybe I could do it.
Yeah, so you're really kind of thinking more strongly about it. And it sounds like you're thinking that you could probably like do it and, get one and have some success.
I think I could probably do it.
Yeah. So you'll also notice that when I reflected Laura's thoughts, and it was a little bit more of a complex reflection, but I tried to use those thinking words that we include in the cheat sheet to kind of directly reflect that these are thoughts rather than facts or something else. And they're thoughts in her head. And I also sort of shared my own thought that maybe this boredom is due to a lack of meaning from not working. That's a guess. That's sort of a conceptual, I'm conceptualizing her as the veteran that way. I could be wrong, but I'm also using my clinical experience and I'm wondering if that's the case. I'm sort of not telling her, but I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility to help her think more about herself and her and this particular situation. I use boredom as an example because obviously we hear this one a lot from veterans who don't have a whole lot going on and they're sort of empty and they feel quite bored. So that was another reason why I use this as an example.